Hi guys, so I get questioned a lot from different people I work with, even strangers, about what foundation I use. And I decided it's time I make a video just kind of dealing with that issue of foundation. Um, the video is going to be a little bit different from what I usually do. I'm going to apply my foundation and I'm going to be talking about the different types of foundation. And basically, it depends on the type of skin that you have, the look that you want to achieve. One foundation, like the foundation I use, for example, it may not suit the needs of somebody with dry skin or with super oily skin. You have to know what kind of skin you have and choose a foundation based on that, as well as the fact of like what kind of effect do you want to have. I don't like a matte look. I like a dewy kind of look. So the foundation that I use is ideal for a dewy look. So I don't I'm not an expert on the subject. I just know what I like and what I've been wearing for years and what works for me. And you have to know what type of skin that you have so you can choose the right foundation for you. All right, guys, so first things first, I don't have any foundation on. First things first, I apply my moisturizer. Now, this is for normal skin. I have like combination skin, and in order for your makeup to set or in order for your skin not to become too oily or too dry, you should use a moisturizer suited for your skin type. So if you have dry skin, you would use a moisturizer like a moisturizer for dry skin. If you have combination skin, use a moisturizer for combination skin, and so on and so forth. So I'm just gonna apply this all over my face. And this is just like a oil of Olay, something you can get at the drugstore. So I do that, I apply it all over my face. And now I have my moisturizer. Well, if you have oily skin, you may not want to use a moisturizer because of the extra oiliness that may occur during the day. So this is the one I use. It's an all-day moisturizer. It has sunscreen in it. It's very cheap. Get it at the drugstore. And this is something that I've used for years, and I absolutely love the way it goes on my skin. It's not too greasy or anything like that. So step one, moisturize, prep your skin. So because it's summertime, I also use sunscreen. Sunscreen is very, very important. Yes, women of color, our skin, the sun doesn't affect our skin as it would other races, but we still need to use sunscreen. So this is something that I put on top of my moisturizer, and it doesn't affect my makeup or anything like that. So I definitely apply sunscreen. And for the purpose of this video, I'm not going to apply this, but usually when I get ready in the morning, I'll put my moisturizer on. Moisturizer, and I'll put my sunscreen, and finally I put on my primer. So this is the primer that I'm using. I got it as a free gift, and basically the primer is something that you need to choose very, very wisely depending on the kind of skin that you have. This one, it's a wrinkle smoothing, silicone free primer, and basically what that means is like silicone has mattifying effects. This primer doesn't have that, so this primer will give you a dewy finish. It would not give you a matte finish, and that's something to consider. If you want a mattifying effect, if you want your face to be looking kind of matte, if you have oily skin, get a primer that has silicone in it because of the mattifying effect of the silicone. Okay, so I put that all over my face, and I'm ready for my next step. Now you would see that I'm using my hands. I use my hands. This is just my personal preference. I use my hands to apply my makeup. It's kind of messy, but it really, really helps blend the makeup, I think. I also use a flat brush, Got this from like Echo Tools at Target. You can use a flat brush, you can use sponges. It's basically whatever suits your needs, suits your style, what you like doing. I like using my fingers for easy application and for the makeup to really, really blend well. But you can use whatever to apply your foundation. So now I'm going to apply my foundation. All right, great. So now that I have my primer on, my silicone-free primer, because I want to have a kind of dewy finish, I'm going to apply my foundation. Now, foundation I use right now is Makeup Forever in 170, and quite frankly, I'm surprised I'm still using this color because it differs in the summer and winter months. My skin is obviously darker in the summer, and in the winter it's a little bit lighter. So I use 170 usually in the winter and 173 during the summer months. But for some reason I'm still using this and I still look relatively normal. That's the other thing. You know, it's good to do some research when selecting a foundation and just make sure that it matches your skin. And it changes with the seasons. So for summer, you may use a darker foundation than in the winter time. And the other thing about it is women of color, we tend to have lighter complexions, the middle of our faces, and darker ones going round. I personally don't use two sets of foundations, but if it suits your needs, you can do so. Or what you can do is use a bronzer to like darken the areas around your face if you choose to use one foundation. I don't have money for two foundations, so I just use one. And this is the one I happen to be using right now. I've used MAC. I've used Maybelline, I've used different ones. It really depends on your needs, your budget, and the look you want to achieve. This one is buildable. So I like to start off kind of light and then I can add layers of foundation depending on my needs. So if you don't want like a thick foundation all over your face, I would suggest trying a BB cream or even a CC cream and see how that suits your needs. So this particular brand, it's buildable and I like using it. It goes on pretty nicely, and so this is what I do. I just put a little bit on my fingers. Oh, I'm supposed to shake the bottle first. There we go. Put a little bit on my fingers, not a lot, and I use my fingers to go over my face. So I'm just warming it up here, and I'm gonna go all over my face. With my fingers, being sure to come down here, because you don't want your neck to be one color. You want it to kind of blend in. Okay, so I'm going to pour a little bit more and really blend that in. So it's like butter almost. The heat from my fingers is really, really helping it blend in. So I go over my eyes, I go all over my face. And okay, so now that I'm done with my foundation, I'm going to conceal. And I'm going to use NW35 from MAC. Oh, I should note that I use two sets of concealers, and I'll tell you why. One is to warm up the eye area, and the other one is just to brighten it. So at first, I have yellow undertones, and that's another thing, ladies, that you have to determine whether you have pink, red, or yellow undertones, and choose a concealer and a foundation that could help conceal and to kind of cover up those areas. So because I have dark circles under my eyes, I use a color that would warm it up. Now, the redness in this would counteract the darkness under my eyes. I just used to use the yellow base concealer because I'm like, yeah, I have yellow undertones, so obviously I'm going to use the yellow base concealer. And then I realized it looked very, very ashy. And when I had gone to the MAC store, the guy was explaining to me that you need to warm under the eye area and then apply a lighter color to like brighten it. So that's what I started doing. So I just put a little dab. And I use my ring finger. That finger doesn't have a lot of pressure, so that's the best finger to use around your eye area. And I'm just going to blend it in. Alright, So you can see that under my eye area is brightened a little bit. So if I had pimples, like really red pimples, I would use this on it to warm it up so that by the end of the day, it's not patchy. Like if you ever get that patchy look when you put concealers on, use a warmer concealer and really, really put it in there. And that way it's not this yellow patch or this crusty patch. It blends better with your skin. So now in order to really kind of brighten under my eyes, I am going to use NC42 from MAC. This is the Pro Longwear Concealer. And again, I'm going to use my fingers, and feel free to use a concealer brush, sponge. This is what works for me. So I'm going to put this on my ring finger. Just a little bit here. And I'm going to warm it up a little bit. I just need a little bit. And then I'm going to put this under my eye. I'm going to make like a V shape under my eye. So down the sides of my nose and up. Down the sides of my nose and up. So do you see how it brightens under my eyes? So I'm done with that, and you can definitely see how it really, really just blends well with my eyes or under my eyes. And if you have any trouble areas, feel free to conceal. I'm having a good skin day today, so I don't have any pimples to conceal. But as I said, if I did, I would use the warmer color to kind of warm it up and kind of get rid of the redness, and then maybe put some regular concealer on it. And the second to last step is that I have to like blend a little bit more so there isn't like this contrast here. And for that I use a brush. I actually use a brush for that one. So I'm just going to put a dab, like a tiny, tiny, tiny bit on there. And I'm going to put this all over my face just to kind of blend everything in. And now my final step is just to set everything with powder. Again, I'm using MAC. And I like MAC because women of color, they have colors for our skin, and it's not too expensive. I mean, I've used powder from CoverGirl, and I think I had some allergic reaction to it, so I don't use CoverGirl. But drugstore brands, don't discount them. They have really, really good products. And if you want something a little more expensive, not too expensive, MAC is also a very good option. So I'm just going to use a brush, regular brush, and the number has rubbed off. I've had this for a while. This has lasted me a really, really long time. This is Mineralized Skin Finish Natural. Again, natural. I don't particularly like matte, but you may be different. So you would consult with whoever works at MAC or Sephora, wherever you go to get your makeup, and figure out what look you want to achieve and which setting powder is the best for you. Makeup Forever actually has an excellent finishing powder, but that's pretty costly. I don't have the money to buy all that. So if you're like me, always on a budget, you know, you can choose MAC or the drugstore brands. And that's basically it for my foundation routine. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something. Feel free to ask me questions, make comments, suggestions. I don't claim to be an expert in the matter, as I said. I just know what has worked for me and what I have learned with the research that I've done, the questions that I've asked. So again, I hope you enjoyed it. This is just basically the end result of it, and I thank you for watching. Thank you so much.